So God of War Ragnarok. I just finished playing this game the other day. Finally got through it, so I'm able to put my review out. Thought the game was solid. You know, the story is interesting because if you've played the game, then you understand. But if you don't, spoilers. So spoiler alert for all of those. Walk away now, right? So the ending of the game seemed to be like this fast, epic paced event, but the game itself was this slow, kind of meticulous game. So whether it's helping Freya get herself back, whether it's helping her brother, whether creating this Dropnir spear, this spear that can kill gods, all these different things are drawing on and on. You have to visit the Sisters of Fate, you know, in the tier mission. It's a rescue mission, but it's also a boss battle. And then after the boss battle in the rescue, it's a chase. And then after the chase, there's another rescue mission. So throughout the course of the story, at least I'd say the first 80%, it's taking its time with you. Whether you're Atreus, whether you're Kratos, you're doing all these different things. They even have a level with Atreus where you're spending way more time than you want to, because I guess the developers really wanted you to get the whole being in York now, or however you say that place. I'm not saying it right, but being in Atreus's home country and exploring with a fellow giant and getting that. But that's not what I was getting at all. All I was getting was annoyed. It's like, listen, can I skip this, please? And it's funny because in the game, the character, she's like, you must want to leave, don't you? And it's like, yes, get me out of here, please. Can I leave? But that part of the story draws on. And what I'm bringing up is, I think you play as Atreus 4 different times throughout the game. But when you're playing as Atreus, these levels are not short. These levels take their time. These levels are flushing out all of the rest of the Asgardians. It's giving you this false portrayal of Odin, which the voice actor did a great job. I mean, they all did a great job of voice acting. But once we get to Ragnarok, it's like fast. And I get Ragnarok is an event, but it didn't feel like Ragnarok had that tenacity. It didn't feel like you were in this ultimate battle for all universes. I felt like when you were fighting Thor, you were just fighting like another phase of that first time you fought him. I felt like that Odin fight turned into like you're playing Hollow Knight or Rayman or something, where you're jumping platforms to avoid unblockable attack. Odin didn't do many transformations. Odin, all he did as far as his gimmick thing was, again, the platform hopping in the element changes. And this is supposed to be Odin, you know, this guy that's ruined so many lives, and he's using the people of Asgardian as meat shields. And this guy's a wicked man. But in the fight, it really didn't feel... I mean, the worst thing Odin did was kill Thor, but that had nothing to do with the fight. That was before the fight even began, because Thor didn't want to do it anymore. He didn't want to be a puppet anymore. So, although the story was interesting, it was an interesting ride. By the time it got to where the game is supposed to culminate into this ultimate event, I felt like the event in and of itself was like a Muspelheim challenge combined with Thor fight, who was just, you know, another level of the first fight, and then an Odin fight, which was very underwhelming. But some of the cool things I did like about the story, I like the rescue with Tyr, where he gives you the boat that travels in the sky. That was cool. I thought that giant lizard who protects the world tree, that whole epic fight, I thought that was cool. I thought the Odin and how you only really get to see him through Atreus's lens when he's on screen, and anytime you hear about Odin, it's through most of the protagonist allies about how terrible he is. But they did such a good job of the character, because while you're watching Atreus with Odin, you're thinking to yourself, is this guy even that bad? Like, I don't know. Odin seems like a pretty reasonable dude, but really he's like the super dictator guy. So that was cool. I thought the whole Tyr plot twist element, it was interesting, because when you know what you know, it makes you kind of revisit what you thought about Tyr the whole time. Here's this guy that you just roll your eyes at. It's like, Tyr, you're not fighting. You're not doing anything. You're always being a buzzkill. But the reason is because he's not Tyr. And because of Odin's disdain for Tyr, I think he was kind of mocking what Tyr represented by trolling him, so to speak, by being so passive, he won't even defend himself in a fight. And if he does have to defend himself, he's like immobilized, like in the other fight with the light elf. So The story was good. The characters were interesting. I like what they did with Thor. Freya's character gets into a different place for me because Freya had all this reason for vengeance that they kind of just swept to the side. And not only did they sweep that to the side, here's a lady who's supposed to be the strongest female in her universe, and she's kind of relegated to being Atreus plus with the way that they use her as your sidekick in the game. And Freya's cool, she'll do her Valkyrie thing on the battlefield from time to time. But the one thing about Freya, it wasn't her, support abilities in combat. It's in the traversal, man. Anytime that there's a puzzle, whether it's Freya, whether it's Mimir, you can't even begin the puzzle before they're criticizing you and telling you what the answer is. I can't even count how many puzzles are in God of War because, it's a God of War game. But it seems like these characters are programmed to just give you the answer after a certain amount of time of being idle. So if you're somebody like me just kind of looking around, it's like, okay, what's going on here? Right about 5 seconds into that thing, I'm like, hey, why don't you throw your axe over there? It's like, that does sound like a good idea. It's not that I wasn't thinking about it. It's just like, damn, can I finish? Can I start? Remember, like in the Boondocks, he was like, can I put the pen on the pad, please? But besides that, I thought the gameplay was good. The characters do talk too much. The traveling could be better. They got the knife jumps now, the blade jumps, where you can swing across using the blades as ropes. So that was cool because that's a callback. But a lot of the traversal, whether you're walking through that Mystic Gateway platform or when you're literally just moving around, it just feels too slow. They still won't let Kratos jump. The only other thing I can say as far as a criticism about the game is the enemies in combat. So there are a lot of different times where if this is God of War and Kratos is supposed to be so powerful, why are enemies just waltzing through my attacks like I'm not even doing anything? And some of these animations last a very long time. So if the programmers have made it to where the enemies can just walk through everything that you're doing, you can end up getting killed by swinging your blades around in an animation that you can't stop and you can't cancel it in any way. So outside of the last battles, outside of the characters, the travel, and the enemies in combat, I thought overall the game was fun. They give you all types of armor, all types of different axe relics that you can use, or not axe relics, but different powers you can use. They debuffed the different runic spells, but they give you so many other things in this game. Again, they give you the shield. They give you the relic, which is a separate attack item that is like, another Batman utility item. Atreus, they give him a lot of swag in this. You can't deck him out or anything like that, but the different relic powers he gets can make his bow, his stun abilities, his hex abilities super dope. Freya has like 3 different character trees where you can develop her however you want to use her as a support character. So as far as building your character, customizing it, and even with the customization with the blades or the axes, if you execute a move X amount of times, then you can enhance it further. So as far as building your character, it's still all gear dependent, which is weird, but the experience that you do gain throughout playing the game is used in ways to build Kratos' overall artillery and to make the weapons that he has better. So God of War was dope. I thought it was a good story, a good ride. For all of the things that I can say negative, I can say 1,000 things positive. The graphics, small things like the little fireflies flying around on your screen, all of the different colors. The game is a great game to look at. It's a great game to, play in. It's just the moving around sometimes in the game. Sometimes the characters spoiling puzzles for you way too prematurely, in my opinion. And the enemies just waltzing through your attacks like you're not even swinging on them. But for anybody who's on the fence about this, I know we're like a month later into this, but if anybody's on the fence, play the game. It's going to be a good time. If you're somebody who doesn't like the whole Final Fantasy style of gameplay where you got to sit through a 3 to 4 minute cutscene before you can play the game, you may not enjoy this. But if you're somebody who enjoyed the first God of War, I'm talking about the one from 2018, this is that game, but a way more smoother, finer, refined version of that. And if you're looking for old Kratos, he's not here anymore. So those people looking to get that feel from those old school God of Wars, although his name is the same, he's in a completely different place in his life. So for all you listening, let me know what you think. Have you played the game? What do you think? Do you agree with what I'm talking about? Do you disagree with what I'm talking about? Are you still on the fence? Do you think that this is a bad game? What do you think about the story? Did you enjoy Freya's character? Did you enjoy Odin? How'd you feel about Thor? Leave those comments in the comment section. Like on the way out. Peace.